Have you ever reached a goal only to feel that strange emptiness afterward? That quiet voice whispering, "There's more"? That feeling isn't failure. It's life's way of reminding us that growth never ends. The top of one mountain is merely the bottom of the next. And the true journey of success is not in reaching one summit, but in becoming the kind of person who keeps climbing. Each of us at some point in life reaches a summit, a goal realized, a dream achieved. We stand there, looking out across the landscape of our effort, proud, fulfilled, and yet aware that the horizon stretches endlessly beyond. That, my friend, is life's quiet reminder. The top of one mountain is merely the bottom of the next. You see, success is not a resting place. It is a platform, a launching pad to greater understanding, higher service, and deeper purpose. The man or woman who believes they have arrived has already begun to descend, because growth, by its nature, demands motion. The moment we stop climbing, we start slipping. When we first begin, our mountain seems impossible to scale. The air is thin, the road uncertain. We stumble, fall, and wonder if it's worth it. But with each step, each disciplined act, each courageous choice, we rise higher, we gain strength, we see farther. And when we finally reach that long-sought summit, we realize something extraordinary. The climb changed us more than the view ever could. The danger, however, lies in comfort. Many settle at their first peak, content with what they've done, not realizing that life's richest treasures are found only in continued ascent. Comfort is the lullaby of mediocrity. It whispers, "Rest here. You've done enough." But the human spirit is not designed for stillness. It is built to stretch, to expand, to explore new heights of potential. So how do we keep climbing? First, cultivate a spirit of curiosity. Ask, what can I learn next? How can I serve more deeply? The climber's heart is never content with where it stands. It's always searching for the next ledge, the next lesson. Second, set a new vision before the ink dries on your last success. Achievement without direction quickly turns to drift. Write your next goal with the same passion that carried you to your current one. Third, stay humble. No mountain rewards arrogance. Every peak teaches patience, gratitude, and respect for the climb itself. And finally, remember this: progress is not measured by speed but by persistence. The steady climber always outlasts the one who sprints and stops. The top of one mountain is the bottom of the next. It's life's way of telling us that we are never done, that there's always more to learn, more to give, and more to become. The summit is not the end of your journey, it's proof that you're capable of far more than you once believed. Success is not something we arrive at, nor a trophy we display once the race is done. It is the quiet unfolding of our potential, the steady march of a life lived with purpose. Too many people imagine success as a finish line, a moment where all effort ceases and satisfaction sets in permanently. But that illusion fades quickly, for no matter what we achieve, the human spirit continues to crave growth. The mind, once awakened to possibility, cannot return to dormancy. Success, then, is not a single victory. It is a way of traveling through life, an attitude that shapes every thought, every action, every decision we make from one day to the next. The truly successful person understands that arrival is an illusion. Each achievement merely reveals new ground to explore, new potential to uncover, new ways to become more useful, more capable, more alive. This understanding transforms work into joy, effort into meaning, because when we realize that success lies in progression, not conclusion, we stop chasing and start growing. We begin to see that the process itself, the discipline, the patience, the perseverance, is what makes the climb worthwhile. Every step forward, no matter how small, becomes a victory in its own right. Life's most fulfilled individuals are not those who reached the top, but those who kept moving long after others stopped. They know that the moment you stop improving, you start declining. They understand that each day offers another chance to stretch the mind, refine the character, and strengthen the spirit. They measure success not by wealth, recognition, or comfort, but by the quiet satisfaction that comes from doing their best work with honesty and consistency. They are guided by an inner compass, one that points not toward applause but toward self-mastery. The continuous journey of success requires courage. The courage to stay the course when the path is steep and the reward uncertain. It asks for faith in the unseen, a belief that every challenge is shaping something greater within. It calls for humility, the recognition that no matter how much we know, there is always more to learn. The mountain of success has no summit, for every height reached reveals another above it. And that, rather than discouraging, should fill us with gratitude, for it means that life will always have meaning, purpose, and direction. Those who find success understand that growth is its own reward. They wake each morning eager to give more, to learn more, to become more. They live not for the applause of the moment, but for the quiet satisfaction of knowing they are progressing. The journey itself becomes their treasure, and in walking it, they discover the deepest truth of all, that the purpose of life is not to arrive, but to evolve continuously into the highest expression of who we are capable of becoming. Growth never takes place in the cradle of comfort. It begins the moment we step beyond what feels safe, certain, and familiar. The human spirit was not designed to rest for long. It was made to expand, to stretch, to reach beyond its present state. Yet how often we confuse ease with happiness, as though the absence of struggle were the same as fulfillment. Comfort, though pleasant, is the great deceiver. It whispers that we've done enough, that we deserve to coast, that the world owes us rest. But growth, that sacred force that makes life meaningful, speaks in a firmer tone. It calls us to rise, to risk, to face the unknown with courage and faith. Every meaningful advance in history, every invention, every work of art, every step forward in civilization came from someone who refused to settle. They were men and women who dared to leave the soft bed of comfort for the steep road of challenge. The moment they met resistance, they did not turn back. They pushed harder, and in that friction between desire and difficulty they grew. The same law applies to every individual life. Muscles strengthen only when strained. Minds sharpen only when tested. Character deepens only through trial. To seek a life free of challenge is to seek a life devoid of progress. When a person chooses comfort over challenge, something subtle begins to happen. The edge of ambition dulls, the light of enthusiasm dims, life becomes routine, predictable, uninspired. The very qualities that once propelled us forward begin to fade. We trade the thrill of potential for the illusion of peace. But comfort is a slow-moving trap. It feels gentle as it takes hold, but before long it steals the fire from within. The one who ceases to challenge themselves ceases to grow, and what stops growing begins to decay. The wise understand that the discomfort of challenge is the birthplace of transformation. They welcome struggle not as punishment, but as opportunity. Every obstacle becomes a teacher, every setback a lesson. They measure their days not by ease, but by expansion, by the distance between who they were yesterday and who they are becoming today. They live with a quiet knowing that the price of comfort is mediocrity, while the reward of challenge is mastery. Growth demands new challenges because each new level of understanding, skill, or strength requires us to leave behind the familiar. It demands faith, the willingness to climb without seeing the summit. The soil of achievement is turned by the plow of difficulty. Without it, no seed of greatness can take root. To grow is to step again and again into the unknown, trusting that each test is shaping a stronger, wiser, more capable version of ourselves. Comfort may offer rest for the body, but only challenge awakens the soul. Every achievement we make, no matter how great or small, serves as preparation for what comes next. Life is a series of steps, each one building upon the last, forming a bridge between who we were and who we are becoming. Many people believe that reaching a goal means the journey is over, but the truth is that every success merely equips us for greater challenges ahead. Each mountain climb strengthens the legs for higher peaks. Each victory, no matter how modest, refines the mind, sharpens the will, and deepens the understanding required for the next ascent. The person who recognizes this truth never becomes complacent. They understand that the value of achievement lies not only in the result, but in the transformation that occurs through effort. The process of striving, failing, learning, and trying again prepares the individual for future demands that could not yet be seen. Life in its wisdom gives us only what we are ready to handle, and every success expands that readiness. Each task completed with integrity, each goal reached through discipline, builds a reservoir of strength that can be drawn upon when new challenges arise. Consider the craftsman who masters his tools, the writer who perfects her words, the leader who earns the trust of others. None of these achievements stand alone. They are all part of a greater unfolding. The mastery developed in one arena becomes the foundation for excellence in another. Success is cumulative, it compounds like interest, rewarding those who persist in steady growth. Each experience teaches lessons that prepare us for the next stage of our evolution. What once seemed difficult becomes familiar, and what once intimidated us becomes a stepping stone to greater capacity. To live this way is to see life as a continuum of learning. There are no wasted moments, no meaningless efforts, no isolated victories. The smallest accomplishment, when approached with the right spirit, becomes a lesson in perseverance, patience, and self-mastery. The great achievers of history all understood this law. They used each success as a tool for building the next, never mistaking achievement for completion. They knew that the strength forged in one battle would serve them in another, that the wisdom gained from one experience would illuminate the path forward. Every achievement is a rehearsal for the future. It refines the discipline required for greater responsibility, the humility necessary for higher leadership, the perspective needed for deeper insight. The person who learns to appreciate each victory not as an end, but as training for what lies ahead, discovers the real secret of progress. Growth is not a series of isolated leaps. It is a continuous unfolding, a chain of connected moments where each link prepares and strengthens the next. When we begin to see our accomplishments as foundations rather than finish lines, we realize that life is always preparing us for more, shaping us quietly, purposefully. For what is yet to come, the true value of any journey lies not in the moment of arrival, but in the steady ascent that precedes it. The climb is what builds the strength, not the summit. Reaching the top may offer a fleeting sense of triumph, but it is the long, deliberate struggle upward that shapes the person who stands there. The view from the peak lasts only a moment, yet the qualities developed during the climb, patience, endurance, faith, and discipline, remain forever. Life, in its quiet wisdom, never rewards the destination without first demanding growth along the way. When a man begins his climb, he is often untested, uncertain of his own strength. Each step upward reveals his weaknesses and demands he rise above them. The path is rarely smooth, it wanes through challenge and doubt. Yet with every obstacle faced, something within him changes. His muscles strengthen, his mind sharpens, and his spirit deepens. The climb teaches lessons that comfort never could. It reveals the quiet truth that progress is not measured by how fast we move, but by how steadfastly we refuse to stop. The summit is only a symbol. It represents the goal that once inspired the first step. But it is the effort, the daily persistence, the small victories, the decision to keep moving when it would be easier to turn back, that gives life its meaning. The man who reaches the top without effort gains nothing of lasting worth, for he has not earned the strength that comes only through struggle. The one who climbs, on the other hand, discovers that every inch of progress has made him more capable, more confident, more complete. This is why true success is never found in comfort. The climber who seeks ease has already stopped ascending. The higher one goes, the more the air thins, the more the climb demands of mind and body alike. But it is in those thin places where we grow most. Every moment of strain refines the character. Every setback tests resolve. Every difficult stretch of the path reveals whether the desire to rise is greater than the temptation to rest. The climb becomes a mirror, reflecting not what we have achieved, but who we have become in the process. The summit gives recognition, but the climb gives transformation. The world may see only the result, the moment when the climber stands tall against the sky. But those who have made their own ascent understand that the glory of the peak is only a reflection of the struggle beneath it. What appears to be triumph is, in truth, the evidence of countless unseen efforts, days of persistence, hours of self-doubt overcome, moments when quitting seemed easier than continuing. The climb is where strength is born, and it is in that upward striving that life finds its true purpose. Fulfillment is not found in the moment we cross the finish line, but in the steady motion that carries us toward it. True fulfillment comes from progress, not arrival. The mind of man was not designed for stillness, it was built to reach, to expand, to grow. Each step forward brings a quiet satisfaction that no single achievement can match. Arrival offers a brief moment of applause, but progress gives something deeper and more lasting, the feeling of purpose. It is the movement itself, the unfolding of potential, that brings meaning to life. When we are working towards something worthy, life takes on direction. The hours have weight, the days have purpose. We rise in the morning with intent, and rest at night with satisfaction. It isn't the possession of the goal that fulfills us, but the transformation that occurs as we move toward it. Every bit of progress, every inch of effort, adds to our sense of worth. A person in motion is alive in the truest sense, while one who stands still begins to lose the spark that drives all creation forward. The illusion of fulfillment at arrival has misled countless people. They labor for years, believing happiness will begin once the goal is reached. Once the house is bought, the career secured, or the recognition attained. Yet when they finally arrive, they often find themselves strangely empty, searching for the next pursuit. This is not failure, it is the nature of growth itself. The joy of life is not in having, but in becoming. It is not in the completion, but in the continual expansion of what we are capable of. The moment we stop growing, something within us begins to fade. Progress keeps the spirit alive. It gives the mind new challenges, the heart new hopes, and the soul new horizons to explore. Each small advancement affirms that we are moving closer to who we are meant to be. Even when the distance ahead seems great, the awareness of movement brings contentment. To progress is to participate in life's grandest law, the law of continuous improvement. The oak tree does not mourn the acorn it once was, It simply keeps growing, stretching toward the light. So it is with us. Those who understand this truth find peace not in the destination, but in the direction. They know that fulfillment cannot be handed to them, nor can it be captured and stored away. It is experienced only in the act of striving in the daily pursuit of a worthy aim. Every effort, every challenge, every lesson adds richness to the journey. Progress is the heartbeat of purpose, the quiet rhythm that reminds us we are alive and moving toward something greater. Arrival ends a journey, but progress keeps life unfolding, ever upward, ever new. Every obstacle we face carries within it the seed of equal or greater opportunity. Life, in its mysterious wisdom, seldom hands us blessings wrapped in ease. More often, it presents them cloaked in difficulty, demanding that we look deeper, think sharper, and act braver than before. Obstacles are not barriers meant to halt our progress. They are the proving grounds of growth. They are life's way of asking, how much do you truly desire what you're pursuing? And only those who answer with persistence uncover the treasure hidden within. When we meet resistance, our first impulse is often to retreat or complain. Yet, in doing so, we deny ourselves the very lesson that would have advanced us. Every challenge refines a skill, strengthens a virtue, or awakens a capacity we did not know we had. The mind expands not in comfort but in confrontation with the unknown. The person who learns to welcome difficulty as a companion, rather than fear it as an enemy, transforms the whole nature of experience. The obstacle ceases to be a wall and becomes a doorway. History's great achievers understood this principle instinctively. Edison saw each failed experiment not as defeat but as discovery. Lincoln turned personal loss and repeated setbacks into the foundation of unshakable character. Every life of significance is a story of perseverance through trial. The difference between the average person and the exceptional one lies in perception. Where one sees misfortune, the other sees raw material for progress. The event is the same, the response makes all the difference. Obstacles force us to pause, to think, to innovate. They demand that we rise above habit and engage our higher faculties. Without them, we would grow soft, complacent, and unaware of our true potential. Just as iron must endure the fire to become steel, so must character endure difficulty to become strength. When life places an obstacle in your path, it is not punishment, it is preparation. The struggle is shaping you for responsibilities and rewards that could not be entrusted to you otherwise. To recognize opportunity within adversity requires faith, a quiet confidence that life is not working against you but for you. When we adopt this perspective, even failure becomes instructive. Each obstacle conquered leaves behind a residue of wisdom, a deeper self-assurance that no setback can erase. Step by step, challenge by challenge, we build an inner resilience that no comfort could ever produce. The truth is that progress and resistance are inseparable. The higher the aim, the greater the tests that accompany it. But in facing them, we grow in stature and depth. The obstacle that once intimidated becomes the very experience that empowers. When seen rightly, every difficulty is an invitation to think bigger, act bolder, and trust more deeply in the quiet, guiding hand of life that hides opportunity within every challenge. Complacency is the quiet enemy of greatness. It never arrives with noise or warning, but rather drifts in gently, disguised as satisfaction. It speaks softly, telling us that we have done enough, that there is no need to push further, that comfort is the reward for our past efforts. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, it begins to steal the very qualities that once made us strong. It dulls ambition, weakens discipline, and numbs the sharp edge of curiosity that once drove us forward. In its presence, growth halts, not with a crash but with a whisper. Greatness is never born of comfort. It thrives in the restless spirit that refuses to settle, that hungers for deeper understanding, higher achievement, and greater contribution. The moment a person believes they have arrived, they have already begun to descend. Life rewards movement, not stagnation. It honors the man or woman who, having reached one summit, looks immediately to the next, not out of greed or discontent, but out of the recognition that human potential is limitless. Complacency, however, convinces us that we've done all we can, and in doing so, it locks the door on possibility. The danger of complacency lies in its subtlety. It often follows success. After a victory, when the applause still echoes and the rewards still glimmer, it creeps in quietly, whispering that the hard part is over. And so the habits that built success begin to fade. The early mornings, the careful study, the willingness to fail and try again. The individual who once worked with passion begins to coast, unaware that coasting only happens in one direction. What was once vibrant and alive becomes predictable and stale. The very success that should have inspired further excellence becomes the seed of decline. Those who achieve lasting greatness understand this danger and guard against it. They treat success not as a resting place, but as a responsibility. They know that each accomplishment is only a foundation for greater service, greater mastery, and greater growth. They maintain a beginner's mind, always learning, always questioning, always improving. Their satisfaction lies not in arrival but in continuous evolution. For them, life is not a series of finish lines. It is an unending climb toward higher ground. Complacency is a thief that robs the soul of urgency and the mind of purpose. It convinces us that tomorrow will be the same as today, that there is no need to strive, no need to stretch, no need to awaken the sleeping power within. But those who resist it, who stay hungry in spirit and humble in victory, continue to rise long after others have stopped. They understand that greatness is not a state to be reached, but a standard to be lived. It demands vigilance, discipline, and the courage to keep moving when comfort tempts you to stand still. Each new mountain reveals more of your potential. Every time we rise to meet a challenge, we uncover a strength we didn't know existed. Life, in its infinite design, hides our greatest capacities behind the veil of effort. It asks us to climb, to struggle, to persist, because it knows that only through movement do we discover the depth of our own power. Each new mountain stands before us not as an obstacle, but as an invitation, an opportunity to meet more of ourselves. When we stand at the base of a new challenge, we often underestimate what lies within us. The climb looks impossible, the path uncertain. Doubt begins to whisper its familiar tune, convincing us that we've reached our limit. But the truth is, our limits are seldom real. They are merely boundaries drawn by comfort. As we ascend, as we take one deliberate step after another, something begins to awaken. The fear fades, replaced by focus. The hesitation gives way to confidence. The higher we climb, the more we realize that strength was never given to us. It was earned through the climb itself. Each mountain is a mirror reflecting a truer version of who we are capable of becoming. What once seemed unreachable becomes achievable, and what once appeared difficult becomes natural. We find ourselves thinking clearer, acting bolder, believing deeper. The mountain does not just change our surroundings, it changes our inner landscape. Every test, every challenge, every moment of exertion strips away weakness and reveals a new layer of potential that was waiting to be discovered. The mistake many make is in believing that one mountain is enough. They reach a summit, feel the thrill of achievement, and decide to rest there, unaware that life's greatest treasures await on the next horizon. The soul does not find peace in arrival. It finds fulfillment in expansion. Each new mountain presents a fresh opportunity to refine our abilities, deepen our understanding, and elevate our vision. The climb never truly ends because the human spirit is infinite in capacity. As long as we continue to seek higher ground, we continue to grow into more of what we were meant to be. Every great achievement in history was simply a new mountain conquered, followed by another waiting beyond it. The scientist who makes one discovery goes on to another. The artist who masters one craft seeks a higher form of expression. The leader who reaches one milestone sets a vision for the next. Growth is endless, and the mountains ahead are not punishments but pathways. Each new height reached expands our perspective and broadens our sense of what is possible. The journey from one mountain to the next is the story of human evolution. The quiet, relentless pursuit of greater purpose, greater wisdom, and greater mastery over self. The spirit of curiosity fuels every great achiever. It is the quiet flame that burns behind every discovery, every invention, every step of human progress. Curiosity is the restless urge to know, to understand, to see what lies beyond the familiar. It is the force that transforms ordinary minds into extraordinary ones, turning the simple question, why, into a lifelong pursuit of truth. The curious person never stops learning, never stops exploring, never stops growing. For them, the world is an endless classroom, and every experience holds a lesson waiting to be uncovered. Curiosity is the antidote to stagnation. It refuses to accept things as they are simply because they have always been that way. It challenges assumptions, questions limits, and breaks through boundaries that others accept as final. Every achievement begins as a question in the mind of someone unwilling to settle for ignorance. The Wright brothers wondered what it would take for man to fly. Edison wondered how to bring light into every home. Each curiosity, when pursued with determination, reshaped the world. Without curiosity, there is no progress, only repetition of the known. The spirit of curiosity does more than expand knowledge, it strengthens character. To be curious is to be humble, to admit there is more to learn, more to see, more to understand. It keeps the mind alive, alert, and receptive. The curious individual approaches each day with a sense of wonder, knowing that no experience is wasted, no encounter meaningless. They are not afraid to ask questions that others might dismiss as foolish, for they understand that curiosity is the birthplace of wisdom. Every breakthrough in thought, every advancement in art or science began with someone who dared to ask what others ignored. Curiosity also fuels resilience. When obstacles appear, the curious mind asks, "What can I learn from this?" Instead of "Why me?" It transforms setbacks into stepping stones and failure into feedback. Curiosity turns difficulty into discovery. It replaces frustration with fascination. This mindset keeps the achiever moving forward, even when the path is uncertain, because the desire to understand becomes stronger than the fear of failure. Great achievers live with a sense of awe toward life itself. They see mysteries where others see monotony. They never stop exploring, not because they must, but because they cannot imagine doing otherwise. Their curiosity drives them to dig deeper, to refine their craft, to expand their influence. The more they learn, the more they realize how much remains to be discovered. This endless cycle of wonder and pursuit keeps their spirit young, their purpose clear, and their vision alive. The spirit of curiosity is the light that guides the human mind toward its greatest heights. It transforms ordinary days into extraordinary opportunities and turns the seeker into the discoverer. Wherever it burns, growth follows, and wherever it is lost, greatness fades. Keep climbing. Not because you must, but because you can. Within every person lies an untapped reservoir of strength, a quiet power waiting to be awakened by effort. Life was never meant to be lived from the valley, gazing upward at distant heights. It was meant to be an ascent, a continuous reaching toward something greater. The act of climbing itself gives meaning to existence, for it is in motion, not arrival, that the human spirit comes alive. To climb simply because you can is to honor the gift of potential that life has entrusted to you. The climb is not a burden, it is a privilege. It is proof that you still have room to grow, that you are capable of more than yesterday allowed. When you climb, you engage the very essence of what it means to be alive, to stretch, to challenge, to evolve. Each step forward is a declaration of faith in yourself and in the possibilities that await. The mountain does not exist to stop you, it exists to reveal you. It shows you what you're made of, not through comfort, but through the steady resistance that calls forth your best. Too many wait for permission to rise. They tell themselves the time isn't right, the path isn't clear, or the effort isn't worth it. But the truth is, the very act of beginning changes everything. You do not need certainty to move forward, you need only courage. The climb teaches as it unfolds. Each rock, each ridge, each difficult stretch imparts its own lesson, shaping the climber into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable than before. The summit, in the end, is only a symbol. The true reward lies in what the climb makes of you. Climbing because you can means recognizing that growth is your natural state. It means refusing to let comfort dull your potential or fear dictate your direction. The climber's heart beats with quiet conviction, knowing that each effort, however small, adds to a greater strength. Even when the path seems endless, each upward step contributes to a transformation that cannot be measured in miles. Progress, not perfection, becomes the measure of success. The joy of climbing lies not in conquering the mountain, but in realizing you have the power to rise above it. When you climb because you can, you're not seeking validation from the world, you're fulfilling a promise to yourself. You move forward because the spirit within you demands expression, because the act of striving lifts you closer to what you were meant to be. The higher you go, the clearer the view, not just of the world around you, but of the strength, courage, and determination that have been within you all along. The mountain stands as both challenge and invitation, whispering the same timeless truth to every soul who dares to listen. Keep climbing, because you can. Every mountain we climb, every goal we pursue, every obstacle we overcome is part of a single, unending journey, the unfolding of our potential. Life was never meant to be static. It was designed to stretch us, to refine us, to draw out the greatness that lies dormant within. Each victory is but a beginning, each summit merely a step toward the next horizon. The true reward of the climb is not the view from the top, but the person we become along the way. The essence of growth is motion. When we continue to move forward, not out of necessity, but out of choice, we align ourselves with life's greatest laws: progress. Success is not a final destination, it is a rhythm, a way of being, a commitment to constant evolution. The moment we stop reaching, we begin to shrink. The moment we stop learning, we begin to forget who we are capable of becoming. So, wherever you find yourself today, whether on the path of ascent or resting between climbs, remember this: the journey is the gift. Every challenge is a teacher. Every setback conceals a seed of wisdom, and every effort made in faith and determination adds to the strength that carries you higher. Do not seek comfort, seek growth. Do not wait for permission. Begin now. The top of one mountain will always be the bottom of the next, and the spirit that keeps climbing calmly, courageously, consistently, will always rise above the ordinary. Keep climbing, not because you must, but because you can. For in that upward motion lies the meaning of life itself, the quiet, ceaseless pursuit of becoming all that you were meant to be.